let's rate the window. When I'm looking at it, Kepa 5 mil, Norgard 15, Zubimendi 60, Madueke 52, Mosquera 18, and Gyökeres 65 mil. That's a 215 mil outlay, with Tavares going, outbounds in terms of his move to Serie A, 5 million the other way. So right now, net spend stands at 210 million. And yes, I know amortization, not all up front. I get all of that, but we're talking total outlay. 210 million, 6 players through the door, Mosquera and Gyökeres included in that. What do you rate it, Lee, at this moment in time? If this is how, it's looking, the eve of the Old Trafford Premier League game week 1.
With Gyökeres in it?
Gyökeres and Mosquera both in it. 6 players signed.
I'd have to say, for me, that would be an 8. I'd be quite happy with it. Not quite what we still need to bring. If we brought in an Eze, I'm saying 9.
No, 8 at the moment. Jordan?
For him
to go through the names again, or did you hear them?
No, yeah, sorry, I heard them. Yeah, I was just taking a, you know what. It's a 7 for me. I was gonna say 6, but it's a 7 for me. I think we've addressed some key areas. I think the business that we've done in terms of the financial deals have been good. Kepa for 5 mil, that's good business. Gyökeres for 62 mil, that's good business. One of the hottest talents coming in, defenders in Europe coming in, future planning. That for that fee, that's good business. But I still feel you have to factor in outgoings as well. Yeah. And I'm sorry, people just talk about transfer windows from the perspective of incoming, sign players, buy. But a big squad is good for 4 competitions, but a bloated squad, I think, is not good. So you need to get Vieira out, Lokonga out, Zinchenko out, Trossard or the Flirter. You got to get those guys out. I factored that in to a good window. So I'm gonna say 7, which is for me good. It's not quite very, very good yet, but it's a good window so far. You bring in Eze and a couple of those guys' names go out, you're looking at 8 to 9. You're looking at a excellent window, in my opinion. Then, So currently, I would say a high 6, 7.
As always, I'll sound like the harsh one, but I do believe that it's a good window, and I put good at 6 out of 10. So I'm gonna say 6 out of 10. I think good, not good enough for 7. I think some outgoings can push it to a 7. I think Eze pushes it to an 8, 9 potentially, and I think Rodrigo, Xavi Simons on top of that gives it a perfect 10-10 all round. That's just how I see it. I think 6 is good. I think 7 is very good. I think 8 is great. 9 is amazing. 10 is perfect. And I think we're at good at this moment in time, all in. I wouldn't say we're as close to very good as maybe Jordan, just a strong 6, because there's still the outgoings need to pick up a little in terms of when I look at the outlay, albeit amortized however many years, the outlay is still what it is, 210 mil. I think we've got to make some inroads there, as always, before we hopefully go for an Eze or try and break that release clause, or potentially go for a Rodrigo or a Xavi Simons or whoever else might be on the cards, if anyone. So I think 6 out of 10 at this moment in time, bearing in mind Tavares is the only one to leave. We still got Lokonga, Reece Nelson, Zinchenko, and so on. Actually, I put Tomiyasu's contract thing in there. That was a positive.
Is that 7 now?
No, it's still no. You know what? It's a strong. I'm with you now. Strong 6, because Gabriel, and Lewis Skelly and Ethan Ranieri's contracts have been wrapped up. Still, Saka and Saliba short. But I mean, in terms of contracts, 3 out of the 5 big ones wrapped up. Okay, I'm saying strong 6. Strong 6.
I think also a little bit harsh, because we've all been saying we wanted the forward, and I know you've not said it, Jordan, but you have Turkey saying that Gyökeres is the one you want.
Yeah.
If that was to be addressed, that it just makes it a so much better window than it has done in the past, because you've got what you want, and that's what I've like. You know, you're not going to get all I want is a striker. That's all I want. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you want other things, but that's the main thing. If they got that in and got that over the line, you know, that's such a big thing for me.
So sorry, I've got to pick up Turkish on his reign actually again. Isak aside, who would have been your first choice striker pick this season?
Gyökeres.
Right, so you got the guy that you wanted, right?
Yeah.
The guy you think and hope will move the dial. So if you've got your number one pick for striker, it's still a 6.
Yeah, because listen, he's my number one pick, and I'm gassed about Gyökeres. Don't get it twisted, right? But I've wanted Rodrigo for a year and a half, 2 years as well, knowing that he will be available eventually. I looked at Kvara go in January and you know, was fuming about that. This season exposed that, yes, we've needed a striker. We've known that for 3 years, 2.5 years now. But this season brought up questions in terms of attacking midfield and Odegaard in terms of left wing and Martinelli and Trossard, because they was going in and out. So this season, it became more than just a striker. So Gyökeres, for me, if it was 5 players signed and Madueke wasn't on that list for 52 mil, right? For me, it's probably a strong 7, close to an 8. But that outlay for that player, I'm sorry, it comes down a little in my estimation, in my opinion, because I feel like that money could have been better used.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get
so there's a lot of factors to it, you know. To make sense for me, to make sense of it. But Gyökeres for me, in isolation, Gyökeres 9 out of 10. If I'm talking strikers, like I said, Isak would be the only one I really, you know, would want ahead of him. But then that value, you look at it, I'd say 9 out of 10. Gyökeres. We went for the hottest striker on the market available. Bang. But then if I'm judging a Madueke 52 mil, you know, that's the other end of the scale. So it
I feel
that
that signing is going to stop you getting the other strikers.
I feel so, yeah.
I get that. I get that. And if that is the case, and that does happen at the end of the window, and we haven't got Eze, my mark would definitely go down. Because that would be poor business as far as I'm concerned.
So final one for me: Lokonga, Zinchenko, Trossard all get sold.
Not Trossard.
Okay, well, in my scenario, Trossard, Lokonga, and Zinchenko all get sold. I don't know. They bring in 60 mil. Eze comes in, but Rodrigo doesn't. What's the number now?
I'm sorry, but Trossard leaving also has an impact. For me, Trossard has been a great 12th man. He's, you know, I think you need a Trossard in your squad. Trossard's probably the closest thing we have to a Wiltord, a Carnu, an attacking player that you can just fit in and he can make it work. Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So him being on that outgoing list, which I'm already worried about, even without Eze coming in, I think you've weakened your options. So as much as you've upgraded in terms of someone coming in, profile, nice, younger, whatever, I still feel we need to keep Trossard. So
if I said to you can only get Eze if Trossard goes, would you be okay with that?
I mean, yeah, but it's not ideal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think you need both.
I'd keep it, Trossard. If we only get Eze, I'd keep Trossard.
But what if it was Trossard or Eze?
Well, then you're looking at the Madueke drill and deal and not happy with it because that's stopping you, isn't it? Like,
but what would you rather? That's if I promise you Eze coming in tomorrow, but Trossard goes the same day, or no Eze, but Trossard starts the season.
No, I'd go Eze because I just think that
you want some excitement.
Yeah.
So you both agreed that you know reluctantly Eze brings the mark up, even if Trossard goes, but you're not going to raise your marks.
No,
I'll raise it, but not.
Oh, you raise it, okay.
Hold on a minute. I'll say if Eze comes, we'll go for a 9. I've said that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all in there. I see where Turkish is coming from. If it stops us getting an Eze, and what realistically, guys, if we bring in Eze, right, we shouldn't be saying, "Oh, we've got to sell Trossard," because I see what you're saying, like, because it's stopping us doing other things. I think that's where the Madueke one comes in a little bit of a
But I'm not sure though, guys, because if we assume, let's assume that Madueke is the backup to Saka. I don't know if you get many better backups on the right wing than Madueke. I'm not a massive fan of his,
No,
but as a backup,
fantastic.
So if that means Trossard's got to go, Eze comes in, and
tell me the better backups in the league, across the league, right? That have been better than Trossard in the last 2 years. Either wing.
I think you're right, but if the choice is keep Trossard, but then you don't get the quality backup for Saka on the right, I'm going with Madueke. If it means losing Trossard,
we could have like Wanyeri. I think Wanyeri could have backed up that Saka. What I've seen of it,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
I do think that you've got to bring that into account and all that.
I forgot about him.
Where is Wanyeri going to play? You know what I mean? Like, it's another thing on that. Like, I just think with that we could have. I'll be disappointed if at the end of the window we couldn't get Eze over the line, or we had to sell something because we didn't have the funds. When I think, well, we could have had the funds because we could have played Wanyeri out there for 10 games instead of Saka. Blah 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 blah. That's the only thing that I would say at this moment in time. If I get Eze, I'm more than happy with what we've got. I really would be like, you know what I mean? That would be the icing. People go, "Oh, was Rodrigo the icing?" I think no, Eze would be the one for me.
Well, you know my thoughts. I would keep Trossard and sell the flirter. So I'd keep Eze and Trossard. I'm just saying, like, just making the point, boy. If it had to be one,
I'd be disappointed if we let him go.
Bye.
At this point, it's about stacking because 6 signings have come in, and you can say 5 of them are direct replacements for players that have already gone. You can make that argument. So any more players going on top of, we've already brought in 6 players. I think it's time to stack on top. So as much as yes, Zinchenko, yes, Nelson, yes, Lokonga, these players on the fringes, the door's there, and it's time to get them done. Our numbers, we're not stacked as we, hoped we would be, considering the frailties we showed last season in terms of squad depth. So I think it's stacking now, especially attack.
Sorry, I know we got a wrap. I got one more for you guys. Last one. I'm a massive fan of Kivior. I think he's a brilliant squad man. It's looking like he may have to go now that Mosquera's in, because that the defender options does look quite bloated now. Who's the better squad player? No, they're different positions. Trossard or Kivior?
I think we need both, bro.